welcome back to my channel. My name is Chris. You've reached ChrisLuvsLux, and today we are going to talk about the new Wayne Goss Radiance Boosting Face Palette. I did get this in the mail two days ago, day before, yesterday, yes. And I have some thoughts about this palette, but we're going to get into that right after you click that subscribe button and that notification bell. Head over to IG and follow me at ChrisLuvsLux. Those are the things I need you to do right now. Stop. Do that. Come back. And let's talk about the new face palette. I'll see you at the end. All right, everybody. We are here to discuss this baby right here, which is the Wayne Goss Radiance Boosting Face Palette. I did get the deepest palette, which is Deep Copper. This is meant to be a bronze and sculpt palette. So, you know, this is Copper Glow, which is the bronzer. And then this is Deep Taupe, which would be the sculpting palette. And ideally, this is the bronzer like you would use any other bronzer. And from what Wayne was saying in his video, this is supposed to give you that nice skin-like, sun-kissed look, right? Like you not sunburned, like, so it's not deep red, but sun-kissed look. And then this is more cool tone, meant to be a sculpting powder. So you can tell this is matte and a lot, let me do it this way. This is matte and a lot cooler than this one. And what I'm going to do though, because this is supposed to be the bronzer, I am going to compare this shade to the other shades. So I'm going to put this bronzer right here and just deepen it up some. Okay, so that is from Wayne. Okay, so let's start with the Airbrush Bronzer by Charlotte Tilbury. I always say it Tilbury, but Tilbury. Okay, this is in tan. Okay. So this is definitely different shades. So if you were wondering, oh, you know, if you wanted comparisons, let's get through some. This is the Gucci bronzer in the shade 04. Okay. I'm going to go in, I actually have 3 Fenty bronzers, but we're going to start with Caramel Cutie. And this is Caramel Cutie. Right? A lot more brown. This is a little more pink. This is more red. This is kind of red. This is redder than this one, right? And then this is definitely more brown. Now let's get into this beat up one right here, which is Cocoa Naughty. This is Cocoa Naughty. Not that this is closer to the Wayne one, the Cocoa Naughty. Right? I'm going to also do the Tantalize by Marc Jacobs. That's this big one right here. Let's do that one. That one is very close to the Wayne one, right? This is the Marc Jacobs, this is the Wayne Goss. Yep. Last one I'm going to show you in comparison is my LYS bronzer, which is in the shade Strength, which is a dark shade. Okay, so when you look at all of these, the Fenty one looks the closest. Actually, both Fenty ones, but really, Cocoa Naughty is very similar match to the Wayne Goss one. Okay, so from a comparison perspective, you have some shades to push it up against. Now, I don't really have sculpting powders in my collection because I tend just to use, if I did want to sculpt, I can use one of my cream bronzers, like my Shade and Illuminate by Tom Ford. I have it in the 3 intensity so that I can get a nice sculpt on. I also have a Fenty stick, matchstick, that I can also use. But ideally, this is what you would use to sculpt it out. So I'm going to put one side bronzer, the other side sculpt, right? And I have stuff all over my little iPad here. So let's just talk about what the site says. I'm looking at Beautylish, and it says the Radiant Boosting Face Palette by Wayne Goss is a contour and bronzer powder duo that gives you everything you need to shape, sculpt, and boost your skin's youthful radiance with a natural, healthy looking finish. A quote listed by Wayne Goss says, "I wanted to create a palette that anyone can use to recreate the look of skin gently kissed by the sun. The powder goes on like silk for skin that radiates health." So ideally, it's supposed to make you look better, but not totally alter your appearance where it's makeup-y, right? So very natural. That's what I'm getting from it. Very natural, radiant looking skin. So let's see. Let's start off with the, actually, you know what? We're gonna start off, I'm gonna use my fan brush, even though it looks dirty. I did clean it on my thing, on my cloth. I'm not going too harsh, but we're gonna use this to sculpt because we need something thin. And he did mention going near the hairline with the sculpting powder, which is what we're going to do. And I am going to use a little more to build it up. Going around my hairline. So it does give a nice little shadow. Bring it down just a little bit. You see that nice shadow here. You don't see it here, but you can definitely see it here. Now I am going to pull this, even though I wear my hair over my, my wig covers my hairline. For the illustration purposes though, we are going to put it there. Now ideally, I'm thinking this could get slightly darker if I continue to build up, which I'm not going to do because I don't want it to look crazy on me. But that's not bad. So from a bronzer perspective, let's put on this bronzer. I have a dense brush here. This is my Sigma brush. It is densely packed. Picks up a lot of product. Let me take some of that off. I'm just going to go over this. You can definitely see a slight warmth added to my cheek. So this is me using the sculpting and then adding the bronzer over it. Nothing on this side of my face. And you can see it did lift my cheek up some here. So it definitely does sculpt. And if I wanted to build it up, which I'm going to show you again, I'm going to show you. Let's see. I want to be careful though, because I don't want to look like a clown here. So, can chisel it out even more. So you can see the sun-kissed glow. So I'm gonna call it, right? I can even hit my forehead a little bit, because really the sun would hit all of these sections of my face. Okay, so let's just do the other side. Then go over it again. We're going to take some of this bronzer, bronze it up. Not wearing any blush today, y'all, so I'm gonna go a little ham with the bronzer. It's a nice shade for contouring. I'm not sure if you deeper than me though, how it will come out. I'm just I don't know why I'm doing all this, because you know I'm about to put a mask on, right? One other place, I took a little bit of the sculpting powder. All right, I'm gonna finish my makeup and I'll be back. All right, y'all, I'm back and here's the final look. Let's take a look at the cheeks. You can definitely see the contour. You can see the bronzer as well. I have on my eyes the Imperial Topaz palette, in case you guys are wondering. That is exactly what is on my eyes by Wayne Goss. But I want to talk about this bronzer duo. I'm gonna put it up again, right? I gave you swatches and everything. I do like the performance of both the contour and the bronzer. It did in fact give me a sun-kissed look. If I was just, most likely will use the bronzer more than the contour. only because I tend to bronze more than contour. But you know, the contour works. You know, it definitely gave me a little more definition. It's cool toned enough. I actually used it a little bit in on my lids as well, because Wayne said that you can do that. I did not particularly care for it on my lid, to be quite honest. I think its intended use for sculpting is fine. You know, so it does work well, right? So I will say that first, right? However, right, I would be remiss if I did not note that this is the darkest shade, and I am a bit disappointed, right? When I saw the pictures, I really thought that each of the shade ranges, each of the palettes, because there's 3, would address a broader skin tone spectrum, right? But I was wrong, right? I know that he is a self-funded brand, and that he has limited funds because of that, etc. But I also believe that if you are not going to be able to cover the entire skin spectrum, right? Like, I get you can't do 10, right? But I think 4, having 1 more after this shade would have done better, right? As far as covering more skin tones. Now, one of my I don't want to call it issues, but I'm going to call it an issue, is in his statement that's quoted on Beautylish, he says, I wanted to create a palette that anyone can use to recreate the look of skin gently kissed by the sun. That is not addressing the contour. It is addressing the bronzer, right? Because that's the sun-kissed part, right? I don't think anyone that much deeper than me is going to really be able to use that bronzer to look sun-kissed, right? So I think he missed the mark when it came to additional shades, right? And again, I'm not saying that the palette is terrible, because I do like the performance, right? But I think he missed the mark with the shade differences, right? Could have, and I'm not into, I don't know how the brands make their products and things like that. But what I do know is that if you can't be inclusive, then just fall back and wait until you're able to give a more inclusive range, right? That's just my opinion. We can agree to disagree respectfully in the comments, but that's where I'm at. Don't make a statement that says I want to make a palette that anyone can use to, you know, to achieve the sun-kissed glow or whatever, and not provide a wide enough shade range, right? And, you know, I watched his video twice. The models, right, even though he had women of color as models, they were lighter than me, right, in the skin tone spectrum, right? Which, in my mind, if you wanted to be more inclusive, have more than that. I'm not saying don't give them an opportunity, because I think they're all beautiful and they all deserve the opportunity. But there are other small YouTube channels, right? Because I know he caters to the smaller YouTube channels that have a deeper complexion that you could have used as models to show if it works on the deeper skin tones, right? Now, I do think that the sculpting side of the palette can be used probably for shades, a few shades darker than me. But if you are on the darker end of the spectrum, you will not be able to use deep copper, right? If you are 3 shades lighter than me, right? What is that, NC 50? You're not going to be able to use the bronzer either, right? That's my opinion. Prove me wrong. You know what I mean? Show me somebody that's able to. You know, I haven't seen and I looked. I said, well, maybe I'm wrong. And I waited, y'all. I said, let me look and see if anybody else, deeper complexion, purchased it and is showing it. And I showed one person, right? One channel I'm going to link her name because it's escaping me now, but I'll link her video in my description box for you, right, to go look. The sculpting shade showed up, right? The bronzing shade, it didn't bronze, but it did illuminate, right? Because it has an illuminating texture, right? So it did illuminate, but it didn't bronze, right? She didn't look any sun-kissed. She didn't look different from that perspective, but she was able to build up the sculpting in order for her, you know, to be seen. So I'm going to link her channel below. Sorry, but the name is really escaping me right now. But listen, that's my final thoughts. Is the palette good? Yes. If you are my skin tone, can you work with this palette? Absolutely. If you are a couple shades darker than me, you can still use it, right? You may have a bit trouble with the bronzer part, but the sculpting will definitely work. That's where I'm at, y'all. So I hope that Wayne Goss is considering that, and that he plans on coming out with additional shades, because I am not saying that he should be canceled or anything like that. What I am saying is that as an influencer, even with a small platform like mine, I would be remiss if I did not point out the fact that there needs to be another shade in there, right? So I will put that out there. His eye codes are fabulous. I like the eyeshadow palettes. You know, I'm good with, you guys know how I feel about the blushes, right? I think there's blushes for everyone and highlighters for everyone in those palettes, right? But this bronzer duo is missing something. It's missing another shade at the minimum, right? Perhaps maybe instead of the duo, and I know he was trying to keep the aesthetics the same with the two-sided compacts, maybe 6 shades of one type, 6 shades of bronzer, 6 shades of sculpting, instead of trying to do both and then giving us half, right? My opinion alone. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Again, I'm loving the look. I'm loving it, but remember, I built this up, but just I'm loving the look, but it's missing shades, y'all. You know, it's missing shades. So I'm hoping that, you know, as he develops his brand, he'll come out and give us more shades in this before he moves on to providing another product. All right. Having said all that, I'm gonna wrap this up by saying thank you so much for supporting my channel. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Follow me at ChrisLuvsLux on IG. The most important thing I want everyone to do is to stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.